The Trump administration has again signalled its ambitions to take control of Greenland. Yesterday, the US appointed a special envoy to the self-governing Danish territory. The White House claims the move is essential for America's national security.
President Trump is making another big push to acquire Greenland, and this time the governor of Louisiana is leading the charge. The president appointed Jeff Landry as his new special envoy to the Arctic island, which is currently a possession of Denmark. But the White House claims the Danish government isn't investing in Greenland's defense, and that's creating a problem for the U.S.
If you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it.
But Denmark is pushing back. The Danish and Greenlandic prime ministers released a joint statement condemning the move, writing in part, quote, "Greenland belongs to the Greenlanders." They say they'll work with the U.S., but only if mutual respect is offered. And Danish Foreign Minister Lars Rasmussen says he'll speak with the U.S. ambassador to Denmark in the coming days to respond to Landry's assertion that he wants to make Greenland, quote, a part of the U.S.
Out of nowhere, there is now a special U.S. presidential representative who, according to himself, is tasked with taking over Greenland. This, of course, is completely unacceptable.
And Denmark isn't alone. It's getting strong backing from its European allies.
Preserving the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark is essential for the European Union.
President Trump has refused to rule out the use of force to take over Greenland, telling reporters, quote, "We'll have to work that out."
Okay, let's get more on this. We're speaking live to former US Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. Mark, great to have you on the show this morning. The White House says Greenland's tactically vital. Would you agree?
I think Greenland being in the control of an ally or partner is tactically vital. It's part of how we counter Russian activity in the Greenland, Iceland, UK gap. But Greenland being a part of the United States is not tactically vital.
Denmark's not happy about the US moves, and that's being supported by other European nations. Presumably the US needs to keep its allies on board.
Well, most of us in the United States feel that way. I'm not sure President Trump has that as an entering argument. But you're absolutely right. If the United States pushes too hard on this, we're going to alienate not just Denmark, but a number of our key NATO allies.
We've seen a lot of Russian incursions in recent weeks and months, aside from its war with Ukraine, sort of the testing of Western defense capabilities. How concerned should the world be about that?
We should be very concerned. Russia's practicing, what they call, a form of hybrid warfare called next generation warfare. It's mixing cyber attacks, sabotage, influence operations, drone operations to try to destabilize European, particularly Eastern European governments, and also knock down the desire to support Ukraine. It's not working in its strategic intent, but certainly at a tactical level, it's causing pain for Eastern European countries particularly.
And clearly there's a pressure on all governments to increase defence spending, and certainly that's been something Donald Trump's been going on about a lot. He also had an interesting announcement this week about a new fleet of so-called Trump-class battleships. What did you make of that?
So look, the president's inclination is correct here. We do need to invest more in the Navy, and particularly in Navy shipbuilding and the maritime industrial base. But his implementation plan is absolutely wrong. Trying to build large battleships, large surface combatants called battleships, about 30,000 tons, 3 times the size of a U.S. or Australian destroyer, is the wrong answer. When we're fighting China tactically, we need to actually distribute our fleet, distribute our sensors, our Aegis radars, our missile systems, our vertical launch systems into multiple ships, not concentrate them in one ship that's an easy target for the Chinese. So this is tactically the wrong thing. And then fiscally, these will get out of control fast. They'll go from 5 to 10 billion very quickly with what's called non-recurring engineering costs.
Yeah, and how tough is it for the US Armed Forces right now? There's a lot of sort of competing requests and needs. We've got, obviously, the war on drugs against Venezuela as well happening, and attacks on small boats in the Caribbean. Is that going to be difficult? And from your experience, how much do different White House administrations through the years listen to the tactical advice from their military?
So look, the extension, using forces where they're not normally planned for is always burns what you call your future readiness, your ability to respond in the future to a crisis, say with China in the Western Pacific. So after October 7th, we increased our number of forces in the Middle East dramatically, naval and aviation and Army air defense. As a result, all of those things are kind of an extremis for 1 to 2 years from now. Now, following it back up, just as that commitment ends in the Middle East, following it back up with commitments in the Caribbean, where we normally have 1 or 2 small surface combatants, to now have a carrier strike group, 8 or 9 destroyers, 3 or 4 amphibious ships permanently on deploy. We basically have something slightly larger than the whole Australian Navy permanently stationed in the Caribbean right now. That's going to burn our readiness for future deployments in the Western Pacific.
Interesting stuff. U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery, appreciate your insight this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.